You are Locked On Celtics Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Boston, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, you may remember Friday night after the victory for the Celtics at home at TD Garden against the Orlando Magic, I said one step forward, do not take two steps backwards. Well, the Celtics took a step backwards on Saturday night, losing at overtime at home against the Atlanta Hawks. With that, the Celtics now 29-13 on the season, have not won two in a row since they won three straight end of December and early January with victories against the Raptors, Timberwolves, and the Rockets. With that, we welcome you to our latest Locked On Celtics postcast. I'm Steve Lennox, longtime college basketball play-by-play announcer, former national show host on ESPN Radio and satellite radio. As a kid, watched Celtics games on a black and white TV. You're right where you need to be on this Saturday night. You are locked on with the latest Locked On Celtics postcast. We are providing reaction to every Celtics game on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, as well as a Locked On Celtics podcast feed, which you do know is free and available wherever you get your podcasts. With our latest Locked On Celtics postcast, we're going to discuss a strong start to the first quarter. Celtics up by 12 after one, but went into the locker room at halftime down. Payton Pritchard, big third quarter. The Celtics, though, could not carry that to a victory. A lot of strategy late in the game. In the end, though, once again, Atlanta pulling off the victory. We do want to hear from you, our everydayers and our first-timers. Join the conversation, watching live on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. Hit the comment button. Join the Celtics conversation. Give us your one random thought on Atlanta's overtime victory against the Celtics on Saturday night. This episode of the Locked On Celtics postcast brought to you by FanDuel. From the first whistle to the final drive, FanDuel makes the NFL playoffs even more exciting. Right now, new customers can bet $5, and with that, get $300 in bonus bets if you win your first bet. Again, visit FanDuel.com to get started. So the Celtics without Kristaps Porzingis, without Al Horford, without one, okay, without both, all right. Luke Kornet did have a good night. But again, the Celtics lose. Celtics fall to the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta takes the season series against the Celtics, 2-1 with both wins in Boston. A 1-point victory in their first meeting in Boston. Overtime victory Saturday night. Like the Celtics, Hawks playing without their top rookie and Zachary Risachet, number one overall pick from last June. Also without Larry Nance Jr. coming off the bench. He's out right now with hand surgery. Celtics, strong first quarter, up 33-21 after the first. But Celtics, 5 of 15 on the three-point line in the first quarter. Went cold, ice cold, in fact. 0 of 8 on threes, 5 of 21 overall from the field in the second quarter. 6 turnovers as well in that second quarter. Atlanta outscoring Boston 31-15 in that second quarter and up by 4, 52-48. Third quarter, Celtics end of the quarter up 5, outscoring the Hawks 30-21. And Brian Scalabrine, first NBC Sports Boston reference of the night, saying, I don't know what we got to do, but we got to pick it up. They did pick it up. Pritchard knocked down a 3 early on in the fourth quarter. Pritchard then with 10 points, 8-point lead at that point in time. Trae Young later in the fourth quarter hit a 3. Atlanta up 2 with just over a minute to go as we kind of fast forward here in what turned out to be an overtime loss. White had a drive. Whistle came late, but it was a good call. White 2 free throws, game tied at 100. Quater on the perimeter against Young. DeAndre Hunter ended up missing a 3. Quater got the rebound. 33.3. Jaylen Brown knocks down a jumper to give the Celtics a 2-point lead. You're thinking right then and there, Celtics have this one. But then perhaps your very next thought is, well, Trae Young is on the other side. Great execution. Hawks, bad possession. Trae Young, technical foul. Celtics then with a turnover. The final seconds of that fourth quarter seemed to take forever. Young, a couple of free throws. Tatum fouled, hit the first, missed the second. Not good. Hawks with the ball, 7.6. Holiday fouling Young in a 2-point game. And Scalabrine intimated that maybe Holiday didn't know the situation. Maybe he thought it was a 3-point lead at that point. Young hit both free throws. Celtics timeout, advanced the ball 3.5. Tatum missed on a potential game winner. I did not like the inbounds pass in the sense that Tatum almost, from the camera angle, ball inbounded on the opposite side of the court. Tatum was sort of going away from the pass, caught it almost like a receiver over the shoulder, and did not have his momentum or anything going towards the rim. Missed the shot overtime. Now, overtime, Hawks with the first bucket, Jalen Johnson. Derrick White knocked down a three, got hot there a little bit. Review on a possible hostile act. That's what it was deemed as with Okongwu and Tatum. Tatum, I thought, was the aggressor. Tatum, Brian Scalabrine did have it, had a technical earlier in the game. They ruled nothing else going on. Again, review for a possible hostile act. Okongwu had the ball. Tatum, the tie-up, Okongwu then ended up with it. Whistle had blown, the play was dead. Tatum tried to take it out of his hands. Okongwu just covered up. No further penalties, though. Tatum then had a bad shot on a three-pointer. And I thought, I don't like hero ball, but I thought he was trying to take Okongwu and say, you know what? I'm going to take you right here. Missed on a three. Now, Quater had a block on Hunter. Dyson Daniels, though, with a bucket. Atlanta up one. White then put the Celtics up one. Trae Young answered right back. Brown a three, Celtics up. Okongwu then on the other end with a basket, drew the foul on Jaylen Brown. Scary situation for Brown in overtime. Hit his head hard to the floor, shaken up but did stay in the game. Okongwu giving Atlanta a 1-point lead by hitting the free throw with 2 minutes to go. Tatum missed on a three. He was seen a double team. Still got an open look as they move the ball around. Then Daniels after Tatum miss with a bucket to put Atlanta up by three. Young the assist. Trae Young 28 and 12 at that point. And then Tatum a finish at the rim, down one under a minute to go. Young missed on a three. Celtics in transition. Joe Mazzulla calling for a timeout. Hopefully I don't lose it here. Sorry. Celtics were sort of in that situation into the fourth quarter and closing seconds of the overtime session, trying to get that 2-for-1, trying to get the last possession of the game. A lot has to happen for you to get that last possession of the game. Celtics losing the ball, going for that 2-for-1, losing it, got an offensive rebound. Atlanta, though, Johnson a couple of misses at the line. Okongwu had an offensive rebound. Atlanta able to pull out the victory. The Celtics were +5 going to the fourth quarter. Pritchard, 13 of his 20 in that fourth quarter. Game tied at 104 at the end of regulation. Let's hit your comments. Again, one step forward against Orlando Friday night, one step back against the Hawks, and an overtime loss against Atlanta on Saturday. Atlanta is a good team. See ya, Atlanta is in our rundown. That's for segment number 2, but I've got thoughts on the Hawks and the Celtics. If they meet again, we'll touch on that in segment number 2. Smiley Jogger checking in. I'm a huge Tatum fan, but not a fan of him always taking the final shot in a clutch finish. He's willing to give up the ball, but yeah, he wants the ball in his hands. And remember, though, game tied, Jaylen Brown had the basket on the baseline, kind of a fadeaway jumper that broke the tie late in the fourth quarter. And again, there was a lot of time on the clock. Atlanta played the clock very well, both at the end of the fourth quarter and again in overtime. Drew Holiday had that foul in a 2-point game. I saw it earlier in the day, calling a Quinnipiac Mount St. Mary's game in the MAC. Up 3, didn't foul, long 3 miss, long rebound, out to the 3-point line, tied the game up. Mount St. Mary's ends up winning the game. There's a lot of discussion. Up 3, you foul. I don't know that Holiday knew the situation. I think he thought it was a 3-point game. You're not fouling Trae Young in a 2-point game. Of all the players in the NBA, Trae Young's probably one of the absolute last players you want to foul in that situation. He's automatic going to the line. Sean checking in. This game was a joke. Stupid turnovers, missed free throws. I'm getting burnt out on all of this already. Stay with us, Sean. Stay the course. It's a long season. I'm going to throw a lot of cliches at you right now. You ready? Go. 1, 2, 3. No, I'm not. It's a long season. But again, You're now past the midpoint of the regular season. This funk has been going on for a little while for the Celtics. The other night after the loss against the Raptors, I said, you don't have to hit the panic button, but you might want to know where it is. Bring this up right now. I don't know if he has to talk to the media. I don't know his availability. But where's Brad Stevens right now? He's letting Joe Mazzulla coach the team. I'm sure they talk, if not on a daily basis, almost a daily basis. You're closing in on a couple of weeks. You're going to start hearing trade rumors. What are you going to hear about the Celtics? Where do you identify what the Celtics would go after on the trade market? Don't jump off, Sean. Don't jump off. Tony checking in. Oh, Tony. Tony calling the Celtics frauds. Running around, chest poked out after they won a championship against a bunch of injured teams throughout the playoffs. Nobody respects these frauds. Tony, I read that almost word for word. Let's agree to disagree. And Tony, I believe your first time with us, at least in the comments section on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, you kept it clean. I read it through. You win a championship. You've gone through the gauntlet of what is the NBA playoffs. I can't go back and take the Celtics championship away, and I have to tip the cap to the Celtics for what they did last playoff season and into June. Yes, you play the teams that are in front of you. That's all you can do. Regular season, postseason. So I've been around sports enough where you win a championship, I don't care what level it's at, college level, minor leagues, professional level, NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball. You've won a championship, you've won a championship. Nobody's taking those rings back. Frauds, I think, is way too strong there, Tony. But we let you speak your piece right there. Keep the comments coming. Locked On Celtics. POSTCAST, Celtics falling against the Atlanta Hawks. But again, wanted to see a victory. I don't care that it was back end of a back-to-back. I don't care. You were in the game. You got to close it out. The fact that they played at home on Friday and home on Saturday and went overtime doesn't matter to me. You were in that game. You had the game. At home, sorry, Celtics should have picked up the victory. Absolutely should have picked up the victory. Up 12 after 1, bad second quarter. Just not a good second quarter, but you responded and had the lead going to the fourth. But in that second quarter, 5 for 21, 0 of 8 on the three-point line, and 6 turnovers. Atlanta had 3 players in double figures at the half. Brown led the way with 14 through the first 20 minutes. Kornet, again, starting role. First loss of the season with Kornet in the starting lineup. But he had 12 and 6 at the half. Tatum, just 2 of 9 from the field and 5 points. Did come alive the rest of the way. But the Celtics, 30-point, third quarter, up by 5 going to the fourth. And again, in that fourth quarter, Tatum in that third, fouled on a 3, hit all 3, 5-point lead, 73-68. Still a lot of time to go at that point. But final minute, Pritchard knocked down a 3, up 6. Hauser missed on a layup. What was going on there? I have no idea. If you're not 100% on dunk attempts, you lay it in. Celtics did get the ball back. Young, though, knocked down a floater on a 3. Trae Young can score in so many different ways. And then the Celtics, again, had the lead in the fourth quarter. And it was Brown hitting the shot that put him in front. And you thought it's going to be over. 33.3, 2-point lead. Now, again, a lot of time. The Hawks after that, the Hawks had a bad possession. Trae Young ends up with a technical. But the Celtics had the turnover right there. Could have added on. Didn't do it. Lost opportunities. Lost opportunities across the board for the Celtics. Hit a couple of more comments here. Let's not get in trouble. Smiley Jogger. Scalabrini was making comments about some mistakes that Quater was making. Yes. Quater was up high, had a defensive assignment against Trae Young, and I think DeAndre Hunter ended up taking the shot and missing at one point late. But Quater a couple of times was too far away from the basket where he's got to be the rim protector. I mean, I believe he was above the free throw line. Celtics team in trouble from Emmanuel. Again, I don't need you to hit the panic button just yet. I think there's some collateral, but they're using it all up right now as we have not even hit February 1st. But now you're on the road for 4 in a row. It's not going to get any easier for the Celtics. On the road for 4 straight, and I believe 7 of the next 9. See you, Atlanta. I'm going to discuss that next. Glad you're with us on this Saturday night. Steve Lennox with you on the Locked On Celtics postcast. Locked On Sports Boston, your team every day. We are presented and brought to you by Robinhood Gold. With Robinhood Gold, you can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions. The privileges of the very privileged are no longer exclusive. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%, plus you also get 4% APY on your cash-in non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive your 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at robinhoodgold.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 per month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to robinhoodgold.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings account interest rate. Claim is based on data from the FDIC as of November 18, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC. Hit more of your comments here in just a moment. No KP, no Al Horford, both out of the starting lineup. So you're missing the starter and Porzingis. Celtics had gone 4 straight games. We'll get into numbers of the night coming up in segment number 3, but I'm going to bring this one up here. As I mentioned, Kristaps Porzingis, injury maintenance, whatever. How they're deeming these injuries now in the NBA is just absolutely ridiculous, but whatever. Horford, sprain in a I think his big left toe. That wasn't the designation. That's just off the top of my head. It was something along there. I don't think it's anything serious. Those guys, you don't want to see them both out on a back-to-back. Celtics have another back-to-back in Los Angeles, almost like home games, but in LA. Clippers and Lakers next Wednesday and Thursday. But the Celtics have gone 4 straight games, and they haven't had great success, what I call lineup number 8. As I keep track of the lineups from game in, game out. They went 4 straight games with Holiday, White, Porzingis, Brown, Tatum. 4 straight games. It's only the second time. 4 straight games. They opened up the season with Horford in the middle and KP not available with those 4 that I just mentioned. They went 5 straight games. Other than that, they've had different lineups. Game in, game out. They've gone a couple of games and a different lineup. So mention that right there. Celtics could not finish against the Atlanta Hawks. Get back to some of the comments here. Smiley Jogger. Scalabrini got that one. Michael checking in. No bench Payton is the only one Joe doesn't trust on the bench. The starters look tired. You can say that again, but they're in the game. Fourth quarter, it's time to gut it out. I don't care. Again, I don't care that they played Friday night. Every team in the NBA plays back-to-backs. The Celtics, prior to Saturday night, blowing out teams on the back end of back-to-backs. Their 5 victories, all by double figures. A handful of those were true blowouts. But I say, see ya, Atlanta. I mentioned it after the Orlando game on Friday night on our Celtics, Locked On Celtics postcast. 4 through 9 right now is jumbled up in the Eastern Conference. You have no idea. The Celtics, come on. They've got it. They can catch it in Cleveland, but Cleveland has to come back to earth. They haven't done that yet. So what Cleveland has done at this point, you have to take into consideration. They're just going to stay the course and maintain this. And they're going to win the Eastern Conference. The Celtics, and we've had this conversation before, the Celtics have no business being the 3, 4, 5 seed. They should be the number 2 seed. Knicks, Bucks, Atlanta, Orlando, I don't think those teams are better than the Celtics. And yes, well, you can say, well, ding dong, Atlanta taking 2 out of 3 from the Celtics. They win the season series, and both wins in Boston. They're better. They're inconsistent. I mean, they're starting to win more games. Again, they haven't been completely healthy. That 1-point victory earlier in the season in Boston without Trae Young. I'm still all over the map on Trae Young. All over the map. I like him, but he's going to do things during the course of a game. He can beat you all by himself in the fourth quarter, whether scoring or distributing. But right now, I'm starting to think, and even before Atlanta won in overtime Saturday night in Boston, I was thinking earlier in the week, I don't think you want to face the Hawks in the playoffs. You're going to start hearing it as we get into February, then March, and then close to the regular season. But I don't think Atlanta's a team you're going to want to play 100% healthy in a playoff series. And if the Celtics and Hawks do play in the NBA playoffs, I'm guaranteeing, well, I'm not guaranteeing, but I'm pretty steadfast in saying there's going to be a game where neither team hits 100. They're going to grind it out. And I don't know right now, as the Celtics are now past the midpoint of the NBA regular season, that I want to see the Atlanta Hawks again this year. Not until the regular season next fall and winter. Mr. Cleanup Man, Atlanta dangerous when healthy. Please believe me, I think I've got some street cred. Did not read that line prior to the statement that I just made from Mr. Cleanup Man. I don't want to see this team. If you're the Celtics, they got bigs. They're long. Larry Nance Jr. didn't even play. I'm not sure what his complete status is, but I would imagine he's back at some point. Risa Shea, for a rookie, number 1 overall pick, he's out right now. That's about development. That's about getting him ready for later in the season. So he's missing valuable time right now. One more from Mr. Cleanup Man. They have length. Yep. Defense, despite Trae. Yeah. And there's nothing else. He's the most clutch player in the league right now. Boston needs another option off the bench. That's where it's got to come from. But right now I'm wondering, would Drew Holiday or Derrick White be better served coming off the bench? Would the Celtics be better served coming off the bench? Do they somehow add a starter? I don't know that they have that ability. But something else off the bench, yeah. But can you pinpoint it to say it's another guard? I think it's somebody in the backcourt. Because when you have Horford coming off the bench, and again, Porzingis is a big if. But you've got Porzingis to Horford, Kornet, and Quater. Quater extended minutes with Horford and Porzingis both out of the lineup as well. Mr. Cleanup Man, appreciate checking in with us. We're going to break. Numbers of the night. Look ahead. Celtics falling at home to the Atlanta Hawks. I think a lot of us are in agreement right now. See Atlanta. You do not want to see Trae Young. You do not want to see the Atlanta Hawks again for the 24-25 NBA season. And that would be a playoff matchup come the NBA playoffs. Again, Celtics falling at home to the Atlanta Hawks. Hawks take the series 2-1, win both games in Boston. Locked On Celtics postcast. Again, Locked On Sports Boston, your team every day. We are presented by Skims. You may have heard, but Skims is now making underwear for men, and that perhaps has you intrigued. Skims does live up to the hype. Ever have issues with your underwear, fit, comfort, or just finding the right style? Well, Skims changes all that. Their men's line offers something for everyone, from boxer briefs to classic briefs, all designed with the perfect balance of comfort and style. Boxer brief guy, these are perfect for the active lifestyle. They move with you, they never lose their shape, and they stay in place all day. Whether you are working out or just running errands, they're the most comfortable and reliable underwear you'll ever own. Plus, the lightweight material feels amazing, almost like you're wearing nothing at all. Shop Skims Men's at skims.com/LockedOnNBA and Skims stores as well. Let them know we sent you after you place your order. Select podcast in the survey and select our podcast, our show, Locked On Celtics Postcast, in the drop-down menu that follows. Again, at skims.com/LockedOnNBA. Our Locked On Celtics postcast also presented by FanDuel. From the first whistle to the final drive, FanDuel makes the NFL playoffs even more exciting. Right now, new customers can bet $5, and with that, you get $300 in bonus bets if you win your first bet. That's $300 to keep the action going. The FanDuel app is easy to navigate, and the variety of bets keeps every game exciting. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. No waiting around for your winnings. Whether you're betting on your favorite team or just looking to add some extra excitement to the playoffs, FanDuel has you covered. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today and get started with $300 in bonus bets. That's $300 in bonus bets at FanDuel.com. Make the playoffs and this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Tough one for the Celtics. Numbers of the night coming up. Boy, Payton Pritchard, 13 points of his 20 in that fourth quarter, and you're thinking, hey, this is going to help seal the deal. Did not happen. Michael checking back in. Brad needs to make a trade, but where is it? Where is it? We're getting closer to February 1, and I think this upcoming week, as I look at the calendar, you've got one more full week in the month of January. You're going to start hearing rumors. And there are going to be buyouts as well. So just with the trade deadline coming, after the trade deadline is over, you've got the buyout market. Somebody going to want to come to Boston and try to help the Celtics win a second straight NBA title. It would be the 19th in franchise history. And just to play with our guy Tony a little bit, wasn't a fraud from last June. Celtics outright won the NBA championship, 18th in franchise history. So you're down on them right now. That's okay. We'll look ahead here in just a moment. Numbers of the night. Celtics have not won 2 in a row since they won 3 straight. End of December, early January. Again, got to put this together. I don't know that this road trip is going to alleviate all the woes that the Celtics have experienced. A lot of the post-game quotes, post-game sound, a lot of it is the same. There was effort there. Tired legs, yes. But again, you're in the game, gut check time, end of the fourth quarter, and even going to overtime. Celtics didn't lose by Celtics scored over 100, remember, in their previous 3 losses, failing to get to that 100-point mark in the game. Celtics will be heading out on the road. There was one more, now 5-2 in the second of a back-to-back on the season as they lose to the Hawks. But again, those back-to-backs, 10-point win at Charlotte, 25-point win at Brooklyn, 32-point win at home against the Clippers, 19-point win against the Heat on the second game of a back-to-back, lost by 6 to Memphis, plus 23 against Houston, losing against the Atlanta Hawks in overtime on Saturday. Again, another back-to-back this upcoming week in Los Angeles. Clippers first on Wednesday, and the Lakers after that. Want to just take a look here, a couple things for the Celtics. Outscored 15-11 in the overtime session. And the Celtics, just in that OT, want to take a look here real quick. 4 of 9 from the field. And did not get to the free throw line in overtime. That's the number I was looking for. Did not get to the free throw line in that overtime session. Is that right? Double check that one more time. No free throws. No free throws at all. Celtics, 17 lead changes. That's a big number, and I really do think that tells you it was a good basketball game. It was ugly at times for both sides. But overall, 17 lead changes, it was competitive. Celtics' largest lead, again, 12 after the first quarter. Largest lead for Atlanta, 9. Celtics fast break points ended up with 21. And I think they had 15 fast break points in the first quarter. Not a team that gets out on the break and executes in terms of scoring on the other end when they get those fast break opportunities. They had 15 in the first quarter, 15 points on the break, just 6 points the rest of the way. Points in the paint, Atlanta, strong, 60 points in the paint. Trae Young, let me take a look at his overall numbers. 10 of 23, can live with that. 3 of 10 on the three-point line, 5 of 5. Credited in one place with 12 assists and another with 11, but 28 points to lead the Atlanta Hawks. Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson, Krejci, Capella. You've got DeAndre Hunter. And Drew Carter and Brian Scalabrine mentioned it. DeAndre Hunter, potential sixth man of the year, 32 minutes, 16 points. Payton Pritchard outscored him 20-16. Again, Pritchard 13 in the fourth quarter. And I have a point on Pritchard I want to make here. But DeAndre Hunter, his team wins the game. Payton Pritchard, a lot of dribbling, a lot of effort. They talk about putting the defender in the spin cycle. And he gets the shot off, he gets the space. But sometimes I think, and I thought about it Saturday night, he's got to do all of that dribbling just to get an opening. It's a lot of dribbling from one individual. It's a lot of standing around from other guys. Shot goes, everyone looks great, including Payton Pritchard. Boy, did he have a long three. I think he had back-to-back at one point. The second one, that was from way downtown. So what's ahead for the Celtics? William checking in. William's got an idea. Everyone who thinks they've got it locked in on what the Celtics, the issue is, it's something different from just about everyone. William has this thought. The problem with the Celtics is Jaylen Brown running the offense and Tatum in the corner. The Celtics are playing backwards. Celtics play outside in, and sometimes it's just outside. A lot of times you're here, and it's still maintained today, even with all the three-pointers that are hoisted up at the NBA level, college level, probably in high school too. I can't imagine going into a high school gym right now and watching kids just launch three after three after three. I hope that's not the case. Bobby Knight used to hate going into high school gyms. Tatum after the Orlando game said, hey, I'm more of a distributor now. Remember, I had a big quarter in the game against Orlando in terms of scoring. It's got to be balanced a little bit more. Smiley Jogger, a couple more here. Celtics brought back their championship team. Yeah, we've talked on that on numerous occasions. They have everything they need with starters and the bench. Problem is when they just miss too many shots or lose focus during certain games and a long season. Man deep. Problem with the Celtics, threes after threes and coach chewing gum. The one thing on possessions that drives me a little bit crazy right now, and we got to go, is the fact that on a possession, they'll miss a three, grab an offensive rebound. They had it against the Magic. There were 4 attempts all on the three-point line, and it was a frenetic pace, and it was as if every shot attempt was with a shot clock winding down, and it wasn't the case. That point, you've got the defense moving, go inside. And that's not the cure-all in any way. Last one from William. Jaylen Brown handle is bad, but then it's worst when he's not focused. Could be. Brown overall with the numbers. You had the rebounds and assists to go with the points as well. 4 in a row on the road now as we look ahead. Celtics on the road. Golden State in San Francisco. Martin Luther King Day on Monday. LA for the Clippers and Lakers Wednesday, Thursday. Then in Dallas against the Mavericks next Saturday. That's the final game of the road trip. Then 2 at home. And then handful of more games. 7 of the next 9 on the road for the Celtics. That is going to do it for us. Locked On Sports Boston, number one place to hang out immediately after every game. We will be with you after the game against the Warriors. Warriors again, already with a victory against the Celtics on the season. That in Boston earlier on in the regular season. Again, Locked On Sports Boston, number one place to hang out immediately after every game. Locked On Sports, your team, your Celtics, every day. As always, we tip our cap to you. Enjoy your Sunday. We'll see you Monday after Celtics and Golden State.